this presentation we're going to be doing a quick clone of a ECU, PCM, whatever you want to call it, ECM, out of a 2010 Chevrolet Camaro. Which on screen is the original, and bring it up here if you want to see the part number on it. We've already taken the screws out. I will tell you that one of the challenging pieces of sometimes doing a clone is getting the cover off, because they don't intend the cover to be removed when they fabricate it. So it's put on with a sometimes a really sticky adhesive. So you can use heat, or you can just pry up a corner and get it off that way. Anyway, it says, if you look at it, old. So this is the original one. And the other one, which came from a place that sells what they call reconditioned reconditioned modules. Let me tell you how they recondition a module. They pray that it came out of a vehicle that was working perfectly right before a collision. There is no reconditioning of modules. Okay, you're not going to go in there. Oh, look at that! One of those chips is looks like it's really old and fatigued, so we'll change it. Well, that's not what they do. They just say they're reconditioned, or they'll just say they're, they were functional right before the collision occurred, which is true. So if you get one out of a car, out of a salvage vehicle that was running just fine right before it impacted another vehicle or some other object, chances are you got a good opportunity for success. Okay, so there's the circuit assembly with the cover removed, and this one's pretty straightforward. Okay, the EEPROM is right here, and I'll do a close-up so you can see it. Oops. Make it a little bit closer here. We'll just zoom in a little bit with my overhead. You really didn't zoom in. Down, 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 and right there. It's right here is the EEPROM, and it is an SPI part, which is in this case a 95080. It could also be a 25080 because they are the same component, just made by two different companies. And let me get close enough so that you can see the actual part number, so you know what we're talking about here. Okay, that's about as close as I could get it. Still have my little overhead camera focus. So you can see it says 95080 at the top of the first line, and then below it you'll see an ST in kind of reverse text. That's SGS Thompson. That's the manufacturer. And something I pointed out in the past, but I'll go ahead and do it again in this illustration or in this presentation, is that how do you tell pin 1? Okay, this package does not have a dimple. And it doesn't have any silk screening on the circuit assembly. But if you look, it's going to probably jiggle when I do this right here. This side has a slant to it. Okay, these 4 pins on that particular side of the part, there's a slant. Okay, and if you were to rotate that so that those pins were on the left, you would see that pin 1 would be in the upper left hand corner. Okay, so that's how you know where pin 1 is. This is a package with a slanted side. Okay, the other side goes straight down, and the pin numbers go from pin 1, they go down 1, 2, 3, 4, then they go across. Well, pin 5 is across from 4, then they go back up the other side, 5, 6, 7, 8, where 8 is across from pin 1. While I'm on this close-up, the big part to the right, okay, which has pins on all 4 sides, you'll notice it's got 2 big tabs on the left and right hand side. Okay, this is going to be some kind of a driver part. Don't know what. I'm not going to spend any time researching it. But the driver, you can tell it's a driver because those tabs are soldered to the board. The reason they're soldered to the board is because the silicon inside the part is going to get warm as it's driving whatever it's driving, fuel injectors, whatever. So that's going to cause that part to get warm. Now, it's kind of odd that they would put the EEPROM at this particular physical location, because let me back out and I'll show you where the processor is. Okay, I'm backed out now. Here's the EEPROM right here. Here's the processor. This is a Freescale processor. These packages are almost impossible to work on, because it's what's called a ball grid array, where the connections are on the bottom underneath and you can't get to them. This is probably the flash memory part, which has the program, and I think this is probably a RAM chip. Okay, don't know that for sure, but based on the proximity, I don't know, maybe I kind of thought this part the PC layout person might have positioned it a little closer to this, but since this is not accessed, doesn't need to be accessed at a high rate of speed, where this part, when it's accessed by this part, does. It's got to be physically close. And the RAM part it's in the same vicinity because of the same requirement. So anyway, here's the part that we're going to read, the 95080, and now we're just going to move its data from here over to the salvage module. So if you've watched me hook up our programmer and clip and stuff on the other videos that we have on our channel, I'm not going to do that because you've seen that work. Okay, so let me go ahead and put the clip on the part, and we'll go ahead and read it, and then we'll move it over to the salvage unit and we'll clone it. Okay, well, before I do that, let me go ahead and, maybe this is the first video, that someone is watching. So let me go ahead and I'm going to set the programmer software up. This is what our software looks like once you start. It's first thing you see where it says select command. Now, I've already selected, if you look here, the 95080. I did that when the system, when you first start our software, it requires you to enter the part before it will let you proceed to this page, which is your main command list. But I'll show you what you would see, which is here. This is the device selection table where it's already picked. And if you didn't know, you would enter the device type down here, the device part number. Anyway, you'll notice that once you select the device, it'll show you how to set up the programmer. There's a switch on the programmer, and you set up the adapter, the in-circuit adapter. Okay, and it's important that you set this up correctly. And let me just put the programmer back under the main camera so you can see it. Okay, here's the programmer with the in-circuit adapter installed. A couple of things that you need to be, of which you need to be aware. The in-circuit adapter has to be inserted in the programming unit all the way to the left. The switch for the programmer configuration is not really visible, but it's underneath the adapter here. Then there's a 4-position switch here, which, if you look, the adapter settings, or the programmer settings over here, because it's got an 8-position switch, and the adapter setting, I've got a mouse which should make this easier than using the touchpad, is here. Okay, so that's how you know how to set it up. And notice it says plug or device position center 25XX. Well, that's the family. So the clip plug, which is all of our connection options, terminate in the same kind of plug. So the clip plug is in the center where it says 25XX, right here, brown wire on the right hand side. Okay, brown wire on the right hand side. Brown wire has to be on the right hand side because these are not keyed. If you turn it around, doesn't hurt anything, it just doesn't work. Okay, now, another thing I'm going to cover here quickly is there's some confusion that sometimes happens with someone that purchases our product, and they just they don't read the documentation that we provide, and we provide lots of documentation. These are switches which allow us to successfully have a high success rate of in-circuit work. Okay. This switch selects either the variable voltages that we provide, or 5 volts. The standard rated voltage for an EEPROM part is 5 volts. So if you switch this switch over here to the right, you will be applying 5 volts to the part. If you flip the switch to the left, you will be applying whatever the voltage is which you choose with this switch. Okay, so this switch has 3 options: 4.2 volts, 3.6 volts, or 3 volts. Okay, the reason that there are 3 voltages from which you select is because the goal for in-circuit work is to be able to read the part successfully without interference from the processor. And the problem that occurs is that when you feed 5 volts into your circuit assembly, all the electronics on the circuit assembly will attempt to become active. And if that happens, the processor will start trying to communicate with the part. At the same time that the programmer is trying to communicate with the part, you get what's called data collision, and you won't get good data. So the goal is to reduce the voltage to the part, so the part still will operate reliably, but the processor will not interfere with it. Okay, now, there is no fixed standard for the voltage from which to choose. Okay, there are guidelines. And the guidelines are for the 24 series parts, they seem to be many times happy at 3 volts. 93 series parts, 93C, 46, 56, they seem to be pretty happy at 3.6. The 95 series parts, not necessarily the 25, but the 95s, they are not low voltage friendly. So we suggest that you try reading those at 4.2. Okay, so that's where I'm going to set the switch over here to 4.2. All right, so now we have the programmer set up. I don't have the clip on the part yet, but that's a little departure from what I was going to cover previously. So there we are with the adapter set, the voltage is set, and let me hook up the clip now and we'll read the part. Okay, for those of you that have not perhaps seen this before, this is the clip that we provide. It's got a red dot. The red dot here indicates pin 1. Okay, so pin 1 is going to go at the, in this case, it's going to be the bottom left pin. And the clip, it's just got jaws, okay? And you squeeze it, you open the jaws, and then when you release it, it closes. Now, there are little plastic separators in between these brass fingers. And if the plastic separators don't go in between the pins of the EEPROM, then it will not make contact because the clip is not actually closing. The clip has to clutch the part. Okay, so I'm going to attach the clip and then we'll read the part. Okay, I now have the clip attached to the part, and the next step, if you watched our videos before, I'm going to go to the buffer editor. So I'm going to go back to the computer display, press the space bar, stop. Okay, so we're going to go to the buffer editor because we're going to use the get validated command to read the data from the part. So we're going to press command 5. There's the buffer editor, which has not got any data in it. It's all F's. But let's see if we're actually connected to the part before we read it. So I'm going to use the quick view command, which you've seen in the past. The quick view command simply reads the data from the part, puts it on the screen. It does not read it into the buffer. It just lets you know you're connected. So I'll press Q, and yes, we are connected to the part. Okay, so I can press any key. The buffer is still clear, so let's press G. Forget valid data. We'll read the part. And there's the data from the 95080. Now, while we're here, let me just show you this, okay? This is the first page, first 256 bytes of data that's in the 95080. But the 95080, if you look up here, the device size is 3FF, okay? That's 1024 bytes, okay? Well, we're only up to F0 here, okay? So, if I press the down arrow key will move down, and lo and behold, what do we have right here? Okay, right here. This is the VIN. Okay, you can tell because it's 17 digits and it's readable. Okay, so I just thought I would point that out to you. It's not on the first page, not on the first screen. So, and if you continue to scroll down, we get down toward the last byte of the part is 3FF. So we're at right now 30, 3C0, 3E0, 3F0. Okay, and the last byte in this part is E1. Okay, that's the value of the byte in the part. All right. Anyway, I just thought you might like to see that. That's the VIN. If you were to wanted to edit the VIN, that's how you find it. And as I said, you can tell because it's 17 bytes. Okay, because one line is 16, so it would be 17 bytes. Okay, and that's ASCII. I'm not going to edit the VIN. I'm just going to clone this module. We have videos on editing how to edit the VIN. Okay, so what do we do now? Well, we got the data in the buffer. Let's get our salvage module and program the part. Program the data into the salvage module. So let me pause it here and hook up the salvage module. All right, here's our salvage module. You can tell it's the salvage module is all clean. It's nice and clean. It's got the sticker over here, which says void, warranty void if removed. Okay, security sticker. Well, yep, we had to remove it. Remove the cover, which voided the warranty on the salvage module, but it is nice and clean. So we'll flip this guy over, and you'll notice it looks the same. Once again, the EEPROM is right here, 95080. So give me a minute, we'll hook up the clip, and we'll finish this clone job. Okay, here we are with the clip attached to the salvage module. Let me flip back over to the computer screen here. And that's where we left off, where I showed you the VIN. Let's go back to the home screen so you can see that. Now, if we have a good connection, we'll use Quick View to be sure that the clip is actually on the salvage module. So I'll press Q. And there it is. You'll notice it's different. This is the salvage module data, which we don't care about because we're going to put the data from the original module into this module, into the salvage module. But that's what's in there. So we know that the clip is attached properly. Okay? So all we have to do now, there's the data from the original module. There's the data from the salvage module. We're going to put that data into from the original module into the salvage module. And we do that using Command 2, which is program device from buffer. Okay, we're looking at the buffer. Now I could either do it in the buffer, which is what I'm going to do, or I could do it, if I press escape, from the main command list, because if you look right here, this is where I know how to use Command 2, program device from buffer. Okay, but I'm going to do it in the buffer editor. So I'm going to press 5. You'll notice here it says 5, buffer editor. Just press 5. We go back to the buffer. Now I'm going to press 2. And it says down here, program from buffer start. Okay, this is the buffer start, which is address 0. Address 0, yes or no. Okay, I'm going to say yes. And it says programming device. Counts down a number of bytes, verifies that it's programmed correctly, and then it says program complete, data verification is correct. All right, we're done. That's it. We have now programmed the data from the original module into the salvage module, and all we have to do is go and install it in the car. However, the module that was sealed before, you know, after it was fabricated, it was sealed. So what you want to do is you want to get some silicone or RTV or something and put it around this the perimeter of the module. Okay, you can see the black sealant here. I'm going to take the clip off. Put the clip off. You can see the sealant that's around the perimeter. Put some RTV or something around there so it's sealed when you install it back in the vehicle. Okay, that's all there is to it. And I added a few extra things for you to know as I was performing the procedure. So I hope you found that useful. And once again, if you like the content of these videos, I do them as I get the opportunity to do them. We're not a giant business here, so sometimes doing videos, we don't have a video creation department. But if you like the content of the videos, you can give us a like. You can subscribe if you choose. We're not monetized, so you don't want to subscribe, don't worry about it. But if you would like additional information on our products or would like to talk to somebody, you can actually call us on the phone or send us an email. And we have actual real-life humans that are available to speak with you. So that being the case, that information, the email address, the telephone number, is on our website, which is arlabs.com.